Welcoming into the studio this hour, 35th Fighter Wing Commander Colonel Mike Rothstein, 35th Mission Support Group Commander Colonel Mike Griffin, and 35th Fighter Wing Command Chief Master Sergeant Russ Hastings, not Rush. That was
like Rush Limbaugh.
That was earlier this morning.
Slip.
And we've got an extra special guest in the studio this hour. We've got Staff Sergeant Scott Wyman. Welcome to the studio. Chief, what's this about?
Scott Wyman?
Yeah.
He's my makeup guy.
Okay.
No, he's not actually. He's been shadowing with me as a project brought on by the Focus 5-6 since Wednesday. So he's been following me around Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Not at night, just in the daytime when I'm at work. And get to see.
Well, you work at night a lot, though, too.
I do work at night, but he didn't have to follow me around at night. So get to see what I do. So he is here in the studio with us on Commander's OpenLine.
Fantastic.
But he did follow you around last night because we had Airman Leadership School graduation.
That's
and
right.
So that was a nice night. And congrats to all those graduates. And congrats to, I think it was Senior Airman Smith.
Yeah, Benjamin
Smith
from
the Med Group, the Levitt Award winner. So great job for all those folks, and that was a good night. And so I guess he did follow you around last night.
Yeah, he did.
Fantastic news. We've got a whole bunch of Facebook questions. I know that the 35th Fighter Wing PA staff has been getting a lot of emails. For you folks out there who maybe are just tuning in and you didn't know this was happening, you still have time to get your questions in. Here's how you do it. Email the PA folks at 35fw.pa@misawa.af.mil. Head over to our Facebook page, the AFN Misawa Facebook page. Drop your questions there. We've got some new ones here in just the past couple minutes. Or you can call us live here in the studio. 226-1575 is the direct number. We'll get you on the air and you can ask your question.
And we like live better. So if you call, you're more likely to get your question answered than if you email or Facebook.
We like to shoot from the hip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
live is fun.
Yeah.
That's right. We've got some
on the edge, baby.
That's right. We've got a variety of topics from things that are coming up soon. We've got questions that are sort of spillover from last month, because last month was killer. It was awesome. Very, very busy Commander's OpenLine last month. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, for another month like that. If we can, do we want to jump right into last month's questions so that?
Well, before we do that, how about that weather? How about the weather this weekend? Finally, we're gonna. It looks
awesome.
like we're gonna have a nice weather. Today's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. Yeah.
I think Colonel Griffin. There's rumors that he's gonna get dressed up for Halloween. I don't know if that's true or not.
Is he?
That's the night. My wife loves Halloween, so we'll be at the Halloween bash tonight.
Which category are you going for, sir?
Refuse to answer that question. I'm going for all of them.
All of them, huh?
So that no matter what I wear, I have a chance.
Well, there is a cross-dressing category.
Okay.
It could be the scariest cross-dresser, most imaginative, scariest cross-dresser we've ever seen, or something like
And
that.
best couple.
It could be a sweep.
It could be a sweep. Yeah, you're right.
But I know one thing. With the weather being 66 degrees, I plan on going golfing on Sunday to get out a little bit. So
All right.
And there's the haunted house.
Costume,
too.
yes.
Right. Yeah, we got the haunted house. I got to plug that. It's going on starting tonight at 1800, 6 p.m. and it'll go till 10 p.m. on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. We're closing down at 2100, 9 p.m. since Monday's a school day and a work day. But it'll be a good time. This is an adult haunted house, so we're not keeping kids out. Parents can bring their kids, but I went to a haunted house as a little kid, and look at me now. So you may want to think twice about sending your kids through. But it is a good time.
It's at Building 28. Now, where is that?
If you know where the haunted house was last year, it's
right
kind
there.
of across the street. Yeah, it's right.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, Commander's right. It's right behind AFN Studios. So,
Okay, so for you folks who don't know where AFN is, because we're
I know.
kind of hidden.
Park in the CDC parking lot, because that's the parking that we're going to use, and follow the crowd, because it's right there by the CDC.
Okay.
So that's the parking that we're going to use as a CDC parking lot if you decide to not walk over.
Simple enough. We've got a lot of parking questions last month and a couple more this month, but we're going to go ahead and jump into some questions. These are from last month, questions that because we got so many we didn't get to, so we're going to get right to it and use the time that we've got here. First question: why do the video cameras in the tower elevators not work? We find urine and poo in there all the time, and it is a health hazard. Tower kids run around destroying things and playing tag in the elevators too. I keep calling security forces and housing, and nothing seems to ever change. If the offenders knew they were being recorded, maybe they would stop.
Well, clearly the cameras are outdated and need repairing. We did budget for those in fiscal year 12. We'll try to replace them. But I would just ask from a pride perspective, if you see people doing that anyway in the community, that you're reporting that. You call people and says, please don't do that in our tower, especially if you see someone doing that or with the animals to take care of that area.
Yeah, and I just to, I understand calling security forces and everything, but really this is going to be something that we have to police ourselves. Security forces are heavily tasked with deployments. They have a commitment to secure the base. When you're talking about housing and towers, the residents of that tower are going to be the ones that have to fix this problem, not housing and not security forces. It's going to have to be the residents themselves.
Yep, I agree. And we've got NCOs and senior NCOs and officers and airmen, in these towers, and we got a community, and we got to take care of each other, and we also got to be willing to hold each other accountable, for the community standards. And so, when those things, clearly pooping and peeing in the elevator, if there are people who are allowing, not that you can always control your pets, so sometimes that might happen, but if that does happen and they are not cleaning that up, we need to call them out and be willing to say that, because that's obviously unacceptable.
You live in a tower?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your perspective?
I
Got to put them on the mic there.
completely agree with Colonel Rossi on that. I've experienced it, my wife and I, numerous occasions, and it's just something people are going to have to be responsible for and self-govern themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sir Wyman. We have
Taught him well.
yes.
You did teach them well, too.
We've got some fresh Facebook questions to get to. First, we're going to get to a question from Mary. Mary says, can a better job of spreading information of when facilities on base will be closed, not their times. The post office was closed randomly last Monday. This was back for Columbus Day. I hear the appointment line is closed today. Once again, this is a while ago. There are a lot of people who are not Air Force who don't seem to get the news. When the air show happened, we got an email telling us ahead of time that the BX would have different hours. Can that system be used more often? Just announcing on AFN is not sufficient. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll jump in on this one. There's a couple things there for this. First of all, we've made a couple updates. One, Commander's Access Channel, which is broadcast across AFN on what channel? 20, right? Channel 20. We've also just recently taken that by request of spouses who live off base, by the way. So this is feedback from the community, and put that on the Misawa homepage. On the right side, there's a big picture that says Commander's Access Channel. You can click on it, and it's kind of nice too, because then it sort of downloads into PDF, and you can click through there at your leisure as well. So that's a great source of information. A lot of times the closures go up on there. And so if, especially if you're Navy personnel or that sort of thing, the Misawa homepage still probably has some pretty good important information for you too. And so we put a lot of our closures on that, and we'll also try and do a better job of, if we're sending out the mass emails, making sure we're grabbing, Misawa all, which I think gets out to a little broader range of folks than 35th Fighter Wing all, if you will. Right. And of course, we're always a little hesitant to do too much spamming of email on every, if the shop that's going to close for a half hour or something, I'm not sure we want to mass email that to everybody all the time. So we try to be judicious about that, but we'll work on that and work on trying to make sure we're hitting the wider audience with those good things, but also know that Misawa homepage, the Commander's Access Channel, and also the FSS homepage for the Force Support Squadron are three really good sources of information.
Right. Yeah, and it's great that is a new feature. Misawa.af.mil, the homepage for military folks. When we sign on, it is right over there on the right. It's very easy to find that
yeah, and that works out. I kind of like it because you can also click through at your own pace too, as opposed to, and if you missed the one slide because you're looking away because your kid was talking to you, you don't have to wait for the rotary to come back around. So that's pretty good. And thanks to our public affairs folks and webmasters who made that happen.
Absolutely. We've got more Facebook questions. They're pouring in at the moment, actually. Keep them coming, folks. We definitely will do our best to get to them all. This question coming in from Robin, this brand new question. Hello, is it possible to have someone out directing traffic at the intersection near the hospital where the commissary and exchange are from about 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.? We used to be able to use the road near the furniture store that had a light, but with the closure, we are stuck at that intersection at the mercy of the heavy traffic flow on the main road. Thanks.
And that is a great question. I've seen the traffic there. I need to go check that one out, sir. I really don't know a good answer to provide.
And it's about another 2-month issue, I think, until the construction's done.
There's a long line of traffic from about 4:30 to about 5:30 at the intersection she's talking about. You can work later. But the traffic's not as bad. But 4:30 to 5:30.
Let us take a look at that. That might be a temporary measure we can do on there. And then also in that, part of what's going on there is there are a lot of folks cutting through, Solars and the med group around Solars, both going to work and from work, that we would really ask you to try to avoid those streets, which might mean taking a little bit of a longer way around. But we've had a lot of incidents with our kids around solars, folks coming through, and sometimes it's both Americans, Japanese transiting through work because the construction is closed, sort of our main route. And sometimes it's also parents taking their kids to and from school. So it goes both ways on that. But we've got to slow down and avoid those areas if we can. And so I'd ask if you can go down, and especially if you're cutting over to the main part of base, go down towards whatever the theater or the club and use that way rather than trying to cut back through the elementary school area.
Yeah,
But Rob, we'll take a look at the intersection.
On the speed front, I know that we've been really pushing the speed thing. I know we've had Colonel Wimmer on the TV encouraging drivers to slow down. Have we seen any positive results? I guess it's hard to see results when there's zeros when they weren't before.
I mean, I drive my daughter to high school in that area near where the fitness center is. I'm seeing cars slow down in that area.
Okay.
But they're still speeding. I still see a couple here and there, and I see the lady out there with the stop sign writing their tags down. So I think they're being more aggressive to catch those. But the solars area, I cannot tell you.
Here's the thing that I'm concerned about. I think I agree. I think I've seen a little bit of improvement in around solars and around the high school with people going slower. But there are a few cars that are still just blazing through there. And after our first snow, that's gonna be an issue. And all it takes is for one child to be hit for this to be a terrible disaster. So I really ask people, it's just not worth it for the few seconds you're going to make up to speed through those areas. Just slow down during those areas.
Absolutely. And we've got another Facebook question. Like I said, last month we had a lot of parking questions. This one's another one here. Jana, I believe it says, for Commander's OpenLine, first, thank you for turning the streetlights on. Second, I live on a cul-de-sac with 0 visitor spots, but there are stretches of road next to grass where visitors park because it doesn't block any residents. Recently, one of our guests got a ticket for parking there. What are we supposed to do when we or anyone else on our street have guests?
I was thinking about that one, sir, only because I know from
Sergeant Wyman can answer that one.
Right. So what do you think, Sergeant Wyman?